Please subscribe and you can download this code from description below. Docker is a powerful tool for containerizing applications, making it easy to package and deploy software in a consistent environment. In this tutorial, we will explore the usage of Docker's ENTRYPOINT instruction in a Python application, and discuss an issue where ENTRYPOINT doesn't recognize environment variables. Before you begin, make sure you have the following prerequisites. A dockerfile is a script that contains a set of instructions to build a Docker image. The ENTRYPOINT instruction in a dockerfile specifies the command that should be run when a container is started. Here's a basic structure of a dockerfile. In this dockerfile, we specify the base image as Python 3.8, set environment variables, copy the application code into the container, install dependencies, and set the entry point to run our Python application, app.py. Sometimes, when using ENTRYPOINT in a Docker file, you may encounter an issue where environment variables are not recognized within the container. This can happen because the environment variables defined using the ENV instruction are not immediately available to the ENTRYPOINT command. To illustrate this issue, consider the following example. In this Docker file, we set an environment variable my_variable and use ENTRYPOINT to echo its value. However, if you build and run this container, you'll notice that the output is just $my_variable and not the expected value. This is because the shell does not interpolate the environment variable in the ENTRYPOINT instruction. To resolve this issue, we can use a shell form of the ENTRYPOINT instruction or wrap the command in a shell. In this Docker file, we use the shell form of ENTRYPOINT, which allows the shell to interpolate the environment variable correctly. Now, if you build and run the container, it will output value. To build and run the Docker container with the corrected Docker file, save the corrected Docker file in a directory with your Python application code. Open a terminal and navigate to the directory containing the Docker file. Build the Docker image. Run the Docker container. You should now see the environment variable value printed to the console. In this tutorial, we explored how to use the ENTRYPOINT instruction in a Docker file for a Python application and discussed an issue where environment variables were not recognized within the container. We learned how to resolve this issue by using the shell form of ENTRYPOINT. Understanding how ENTRYPOINT and environment variables work is essential for configuring your Docker containers effectively. ChatGPT.